Hey, what's good, John? It's the one and only Meticulous Youngin. Hey, man, I'm about to go ahead and talk about the Captain Marvel movie. Now, I went and saw the movie about a week and a half ago, or about a week ago, I would say. And I've seen, trying to be more, correct with my grammar. I've seen a lot of people, comment on the movie and say that the movie was, the worst movie created by Marvel, that it was going to do horribly. The plot was horrible. And I heard people even bring up like the amount of feminism and just the ideology of feminism being really implemented and shown in the film, and just the scenario. It just seemed like people just really were not vibing with the film and were really advising people not to even waste their time to go even see the film. Now, I saw a couple YouTubers like Tyrone Magnus, who were saying like, even though he didn't enjoy the movie, he still wouldn't tell anybody else to not go see the movie. Like, if you want to see the movie, go see the movie. But he just really didn't, really just was not with the movie. He was just like, the movie was just no. But me personally, because I went and saw it with my brother, me personally, when I went and saw the movie, I was going in thinking that, okay, you know what? And even though I didn't watch people actually, the ones with the spoilers. I just watched them do like a general discussion of the movie and what they thought of it, but no spoilers. They just, talked about basically the plot, which was shown in the trailer. But when I was going into the movie, I was going in, just assuming like, okay, you know what? This might be a waste of time. This might not be that good. I'm going to look out for what people like pointed out. And, even though they didn't spoil the movie, it's like, okay, I'm going to look for what the potential problems might be. Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers in my video. I'm not going to do any spoilers. So, I would say this. The reason I'm not going to say I really liked Captain Marvel. I'm not like, oh my gosh, dude, it was such a good movie. Nah. Okay. I'm not like that. But I did like the movie. It wasn't a bad movie, in my personal opinion. The reason why it wasn't a bad movie was because just the plot and the whole meaning of the movie, it made sense. Okay? It made sense. And even though I feel that the story could have been told in a better way, in a better manner, in a manner that flowed a lot easier. And when it came to Captain Marvel, I feel like she could have been a more likable character, given that if her character was really fixated, like if she wasn't so like, if her emotions weren't so like unclear, I would say. Like, if you could really get a good read on, okay, she's either an emotional person, she's either a non-emotional person, or she's just a really tough chick and nothing really phases her. If people could really pinpoint who Captain Marvel is, given that she was having, a hard time figuring out who herself was, I feel like people would have taken a liking to her a lot more. But the person that she betrayed herself to be and what she ended up finding out throughout the movie, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the fact that she went throughout the movie figuring out, okay, this is who I was, this is my past, and this is how my past relates to the meaning of the movie and why the movie is what it is and why this is even a Captain Marvel movie. I feel like it was a good story. I feel like it was a story that I have seen in many movies time and time again, where this person is like, they are dope, they were like a beast, they was going around murking people, or they had like a calm life before, and then something tragic happens, they lose their memory or they can't remember, and now they're on a quest to search for who they were, like sort of like Born Identity. Going around trying to figure out who I am, why do I have these skills, why do I have this power, why am I being tamed, stuff like that. Why are people trying to keep me from finding out who I really am? Perfect example, Born Identity. But see, the thing is this though, given that this is a superhero movie, and given that all the films that Marvel has created in the past, it's basically like people went in basically trying to compare, like, okay, is this movie going to be just as good as Captain America? Is it going to be as good as Iron Man? Is it going to be as good as Spider-Man? And all the other films. They were going in comparing it to everything else that Marvel has put out. Now, me personally, I didn't know nothing about Captain Marvel. I knew diddly squat about Captain Marvel. all I knew about Captain Marvel was that she was a chick and she wore like this super tight black bikini costume. She was looking real good in. But yeah, she wore that. She had like a yellow stripe and she had long blonde hair and she could fly. That's all I knew about Captain Marvel. I never knew what her power was. I didn't know how strong she was. I just knew she was on the Avengers, and I only played like one of the video games on the PlayStation 3 of Marvel. I think it was called Ultimate Alliance, and I played her once, and I was playing all the other main characters that have been really highlighted throughout mainstream. You know, never really knew anything else about her. But what I will say is that for this to be the first movie of Captain Marvel, I believe it was a decent introduction to who she is and how she plays a key role in her meeting Nick Fury and her role in why, you know, Nick Fury ended up calling for her. Now, what I will say is that they could have, and they had a lot of room to improve. They had a whole lot of room to improve as far as, you know, character development, as far as the villains, as far as their significance and the building of her character and the building of Nick Fury's character. Okay, I feel like there was a lot of room for improvement, but I would say that it was decent. It was basically a C+, you know, basic. It was a basic movie, but it was a movie that I would not hate to go see again. You know, I wouldn't hate to go just because it's like a general movie. Because one thing I will share with you guys is the first movie, Thor, I wasn't a big fan of it. I felt like the first movie, Thor, there was way too much, you know, corny humor in it. There was way too much corny humor in it. The strength of Thor was very questionable, you know, because if you guys watched the first movie of Thor, like when he's a demigod or whatever, you know, who was banished and, you know, sent down to Earth, and he's in the hospital and he's basically being manhandled by a whole bunch of people, but yet when he has that hammer, he can swing that hammer, he's just murking everybody, murking huge monsters with it. So it's like, okay, how are you this strong with the hammer? And then when he was fighting Hulk in the first Avengers, he was holding off Hulk. He was holding Hulk off and he didn't even have the hammer. He was fighting Hulk. Hulk went to like smash and dude was like, and he was holding off Hulk. And Hulk was even struggling. So how is it that in the first Thor movie, when Thor was in the hospital after his girl or his ex-girl hit him with the car or whatever, however he ended up there, and then they inject him with that needle, how did that take him out so quickly? Like, I feel like that was pointless humor and something that didn't even really make sense to the strength of Thor. Because if he can fight the Hulk and he was fighting him without the hammer, how are you going to tell me that they were able to just take him out like that easily? Even if he was weakened, like it makes no sense. Like, no sense whatsoever to me. And even in Thor Ragnarok, when him and Hulk were fighting again, he was holding his own without any weapon. So it's like, that Thor movie, I watched it a couple times, and that had to be a movie that I was really indifferent on. Like, I really could care less about that movie because it didn't make any sense. It was still a decent movie, but I would say that Captain Marvel was better than Thor. Honestly, I felt like everything that happened in Captain Marvel, it made sense. It wasn't something super duper stupid that happened in the movie to where you just say, are you kidding me? It wasn't nothing stupid like that. It was a decent movie. And I feel like people went into going to see Captain Marvel trying to compare it to all the other movies that came out. And, you know, like the first Captain America and the first Iron Man and all that. They went in trying to compare that to the other movies, thinking that it was going to be this super duper cool diabolical story. And it was just a decent story. It was a basic story. It was a good story. You know, it's a good story to go see when you're like, okay, you know, I ain't really got nothing to do. Let's go watch Captain Marvel. That's cool. But if you going in and you like overhyping yourself thinking, oh man, it's about to be the best movie out. Nah, this is just another superhero that's going to come in and probably save the day in the next film in Endgame Avengers. Or whatever the actual name is, Endgame. Okay? Dang. Ooh, wait. Was that bars? Oh, that was bars a little bit. But the thing is this, though. I would still encourage people to go and see that movie. Go and see the movie so you can get caught up with the story, get caught up with knowing who Captain Marvel is, get to know who Captain Marvel is, who this person is being portrayed in the movie. Try to understand Captain Marvel. Don't go in trying to compare it to the other movies. Just go in and just see the movie for what it is. Because I feel like we really start to become really biased when we try to compare it to other movies. This isn't like other movies. This is an entirely different person. This is a female lead. Okay, I really didn't notice any, feminist things. Only thing I really noticed was, of course, her friend who was, a black chick. And this isn't really a spoiler, but her friend was the black chick and she had a daughter and there was no man. She had no husband. She was just there taking care of the daughter by herself. That's the only thing I noticed. And that's the only thing that really made me go, okay, why couldn't she have been married? Why does it have to be she's a single black mother? But then I look at the time frame and it's like, okay, it actually does make sense because it really does pertain to real life. And that is something that is actually a real thing, because when you look at it right now, 70% of families in the black community are single mothers. So am I saying that right? It's some percentage. Y'all can look it up. We have a lot of single black mothers, and in the Statistics Bureau, it actually shows that. It's actually like 73%. But still though, that's the only thing that bothered me. But then I immediately got rid of that, irritated feeling, because I was like, okay, you know what? Given the time frame and what year this is supposed to be set in, it makes sense. So, but I'm going to end this on this note. Captain Marvel was a decent movie. It's not a bad movie. It's not a movie that I wouldn't mind going and seeing again if I had nothing else to do. It was an okay movie. It was a good, not okay, it was a good movie. Captain Marvel was good. So please, other YouTubers out there, stop bashing this movie. Stop being so dramatic and saying that this movie was terrible. It was, oh man, this is the worst movie in Marvel. Marvel's gonna plummet. Look, stop going in trying to compare this movie to other movies. It's a decent movie. And don't discourage other people from going and seeing the movie. Let people go and see the movie and get out of it what they get out of it. Like, come on. Everybody's different, and I'm not saying that, you don't have a right to feel how you want to feel, but don't try to discourage other people from being able to experience what they can probably experience after going and watching it for themselves. Like, if you don't like it, cool, you don't like it. I might like it, or he might like it, or she might like it. So we gonna go see it, okay? But yeah, like, just chill. It's not that big of a deal. This is one superhero out of all the other superheroes that have been introduced in the Marvel, since Marvel has been putting out films. And if it's like the worst Marvel, it's not the end. If this is the worst Marvel superhero that's been put out in the film industry, oh well. She can still make a comeback, in Endgame and be a really dope character. But I feel like it wasn't really much to her in the first place. That's why she wasn't really glorified like that, like a Spider-Man or like an Iron Man or Captain America was, and all the other people who've been really put out there and were put out there first. Because then you have to ask yourself, well, why wasn't Captain Marvel put out first? There's a reason for it. Probably wasn't much to tell about her. She's like, she's a chick and she, can shoot stuff out of her hands and fly. It was like probably not much of a story to tell, but I'm sure if you guys just give it a chance, they'll probably keep building on her character, keep building, and then she'll be dope. So just let it happen. Quit complaining. Jeez, come on, man. And don't discourage other people, man. Sometimes just shut up. And that's the, you know what? I got a low-key rant. I'm tired of seeing YouTubers just rant, and then when they do their rants, they want to try to discourage other people from going and doing something. Or they want to sit there and try to make it seem like you shouldn't be talking about a certain subject because you don't want to offend anybody. Look, people have the right to say what they want to say as long as they say it in a respectful manner, okay? But just because you're a YouTuber and you have a big platform, don't try to discourage certain people because you are afraid of having to deal with what they are trying to say based off of how they view it. If you can't handle the conversation, then don't have the conversation. If you're not mature enough to understand that everybody's different and everybody has a different opinion and come from different backgrounds, then don't try to tell those people that they shouldn't even talk. Maybe you shouldn't talk. Or maybe you shouldn't even talk about the subject if you don't know how to address it in a way that everybody has the right to comment on, and you can mediate it to where everybody's comfortable and at a decent position to where it's like, okay, nobody, don't get too offended by this. Let's just have a general conversation and let's just keep it, professional. Let's keep it respectful. Guys, let's try to agree to disagree. Let's not just all out disrespect each other. Let's actually put some facts together and let's just keep it at that. If you can't do that and you're a person with a big platform and you're scared of offending people, or you're afraid you're going to see something you don't like and I'm just going to shut down. Look, grow up. Just because you're an older person don't mean that, oh, you just mature. No, you can be just as childish at the age of 50, 60, whatever. You can still be a dumb, I ain't going to even say it, but you can still be a retard, okay? Stop trying to shame other people from going and experiencing things or going out and actually, forming their own opinion about things. Let people be people. Let people be human. Just because you have a platform don't mean you get to tell other people what they can and can't do. In some instances. But just because you have a platform doesn't mean you get to tell people you can't do this, don't do that, and you don't even have the right to have an opinion over here. Like, seriously? You got that big headed to where you feel like you can tell me I don't have the right to form an opinion or question this or question that? Get out of here. Okay? But enough with the rant. That was just a little rant. I'm not trying to be too specific because I'm not trying to, start no beef or nothing. But like straight up, some of you YouTubers need to chill. Get your head out between your butt cheeks and just be human. Okay? Remember where you started. Straight up. But alright, man. Enough of this. I'm out, man. Y'all have a good one.